All right, my lovelies. It is Sunday, January 27th, 2019. This is my newest segment of Markets A Look Ahead. This is a huge week. Why would this be such a big week? Well, some pretty big companies are going to report earnings this week. Now, let's see how this plays out. If we all recall, and I think we do, we heard earnings warning after earnings warning after earnings warning over the past several months. Well, now is the time where we're going to see how bad they actually are. Surprisingly enough, despite that, we've been seeing earnings come in better than expected. It's always the same story. How does that work? Maybe they're fudging the books, maybe they're faking it, I don't know. But when you get company after company after company warning about earnings, warning about forward guidance, and then they start reporting and it doesn't seem to be true what they were saying, something's wrong. But look, that's the environment we are in. It's look here, don't look here, lies across the board. I mean, it's incredible. It really is. So look, that is undoubtedly going to play into how this market reacts this week. Let me just say this. A lot of people have been writing to me, hey Greg, how come you don't go over charts anymore? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. This market is not being driven by technical factors at all, or even true, actual, fundamental factors. This market is being driven by geopolitical events, political events right here in the United States, being pulled this way, pulled that way. So I don't think at this point, honestly, that technical analysis is going to help us through this, because if you're a trader here that is using technical analysis, you will have to say, and I would imagine you would agree with me, that time after time after time lately, this market seems to be going in the complete opposite direction that the charts are saying that it should go. But again, that's the politics that are playing into this, the geopolitical events playing into this. I don't believe, and this is what a lot of you have been writing to me over the entire weekend, Greg, how do you think that the events which happened on Friday, the government shutdown, reopening, without any money for the border wall, how is that going to affect the markets? I don't think it's going to this week, honestly. The president did give the Democrats 3 weeks to come up with a decision as to how they're going to play it. And I don't even want to speculate right now as to how that's going to play out. But I don't think it's going to affect the markets this week. I really don't. Unless, I don't know, someone comes out of the woodwork and says something profound. This week is going to be about earnings. This week is also going to be about China. It seems that for months and months and months, you and I, everybody has been pulled along and frankly lied to about progress which was supposedly being made with regard to China. And then we find out that no progress whatsoever has been made. So I find that very disappointing. But again, here's the deal. Going back to what needs to happen here to really push this market out of where it is. I mean, right now it's being completely faked. We know this. This was a setup between the President of the United States and Wall Street via his Treasury Secretary. They're propping up this market on extremely low volume. So you can see what's going on here. If we get if we happen to get a sell-off on high volume, we will erase all of the gains since President Trump's buy recommendation. Of course, after he sent his Treasury Secretary out to 6 of the Wall Street banks. This is not speculation. This is documented fact. It really happened. So, again, I think there's going to be more faking in this market, more propping up of this market, more magical numbers being produced by companies that were warning about profit. I mean, really, this is literally the Twilight Zone, and I did a whole Twilight Zone video. It's the truth. Now, let's put another thing together. I know this is getting kind of long-winded, but we need to understand something here. And I can't over-stress this. The Federal Reserve, in collusion now with the president, has put a pretty substantial put under this market. Those 6 Wall Street banks are playing into this as well, which those banks obviously run the Federal Reserve. We all know that. We're not supposed to know that, but that's the truth. It's kind of interesting how these 6 banks were chosen. Don't you find that to be a little bit? Well, maybe you don't find it to be at all surprising, because it just does make sense, doesn't it? These 6 banks which run the Fed. The Fed is not a part of the government. It's no more federal than Federal Express. These 6 banks are running the Fed, and they're the ones that Mnuchin went to talk to about how they're going to prop up the market. It's a pretty incredible situation, but these are the facts. So this put under the market here, the Federal Reserve playing ball along with the 6 Wall Street banks. The president wants to be reelected, although it's very hard to deny that he's taken a pretty embarrassing defeat here. But thus far, we'll see what happens in a few weeks, but that's the way it looks so far. Please don't take offense to that if you are a Trump supporter. I am a Trump supporter as well, but I see things pretty clearly. I'm not blinded by my support. I'm willing to call a spade a spade. You have to be willing to do that too. Understanding that there is a Trump Fed put under this market, the 6 Wall Street banks that run the Fed are involved in this as well, propping up the stock market. A lot of effort is going to be made to keep stocks propped up. What does that mean in the bigger picture? The Federal Reserve is going to continue to inflate and inflate. We already understand that there's a lot of talk here. I mean, this is, again, I'm not speculating. There's a lot of talk that the Federal Reserve is going to reverse its policy on unwinding its balance sheet. Okay, that's in-our-face quantitative easing. In my view, they have no choice. The Fed has got to inflate and inflate and inflate. And you know what that means? Number 1, become your own central bank. Number 2, bet against the debt by holding a hard asset. Gold and silver are going to shine at one point, despite the rigging and fakery, and I'm not making this up. No less than 6 banks have been caught in the last year alone rigging gold, rigging silver. No one gets in trouble. No one gets arrested. It's just, it's announced, and we hear about it on the news. Nothing happens. Good. Let them play their game, because the Fed is going to continue to inflate. They're going to continue to inflate this market by every mechanism possible until it doesn't work anymore. That point is going to come. When? Who knows? But without a real China deal, this market's in a lot of trouble. And I think that's pretty obvious here. And China right now has the high ground, especially with the political events going on here in the United States, and they're watching, just like I talked about in the last video I did. All right, look, I could continue to go on here for probably another hour, but it's getting long-winded. I just wanted to throw these concepts out here so you can think about it, understand what's coming down the pike here. A big week again for earnings. Let's see if all these warnings play out to be true, or they were just more garbage, or they're going to just fake these numbers to miraculously make their numbers and maybe even surpass them. Hey, what does that sound like? Enron did that. And we all know how that ended. Just freaking lovely. All right, with that said, see you in the morning.